We are the restaurant brokers, and we sell restaurants.
We started the nation's largest restaurant brokerage firm over a decade ago.
Atlanta, Georgia was our starting point, but our brand is spreading nationwide. We define restaurant brokerage and help buyers just like these.
Our dream, our goal, open up a restaurant, loving life, serving people breakfast and lunch, and then enjoying the rest of the day with them and ourselves.
Buying an existing restaurant, leasing a closed restaurant space, or purchasing a restaurant franchise. We help buyers satisfy their appetite for acquisition.
I'm part of a husband and wife team with this fella.
Working with my wife has been a lot of fun. The ultimate goal for everybody here is to make this work. And because we have different strengths, we bring different angles to the deal.
The process begins with our powerhouse website, WeSellRestaurants.com, where buyers sign online confidentiality agreements and browse restaurants for sale.
Then we send buyers undercover to check out a restaurant and decide if it's the right one for them.
Buyers get our proprietary business analysis tool with all the financial details on the business for sale.
After studying the restaurant inside and out, it's back to our office.
We're deal makers. We write contracts and negotiate terms for buyers and sellers. That's why we sell more restaurants than any other firm in the nation. We are the restaurant brokers. Our name says it all. That sound, you know what it is. You're back on the air with the restaurant brokers, Eric and Robin Gagnon, and it is time for Restaurant Reality. So today we have been talking about women in non-traditional roles, those women who are truly making strides in the business in the food service industry. And Eric, I know we're a husband and wife team, but this one sort of hit close to home for me because this is such a male-dominated business, the restaurant brokerage business. 97% of all brokers out there are men. So, I think I've been through a few years of a learning curve with a few guys, understanding that I would take them to the ropes and get a deal done with them, around them, or in some cases through them when there was a guy on the other side of the transaction. What was your feedback on today's show?
Absolutely. No, I think Hattie and Carrie did a great, inspiring show today for women in the food service industry. And, just like you did, you made it clear very early on. I'm here to stay. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be persistent. And I mean, that is a very big key. If you are in this industry, there is room for you. There is plenty of people welcoming, but there's also challenges, as we can see. But if you're persistent, your time will come. You will shine. And, I may not be a woman, but I mean, I always been young in my career in very much many places, and I always wanted to be promoted and to be given that opportunity. And even based on performance, a lot of time I was passed, and I would be like, this is not fair. Some guy that's just older, that's the buddy of the boss or something, got the job. So I think, you've got to be persistent, and eventually you will find your calling. I mean, it took me a while, but I mean, being a restaurant broker was my calling, 14 years in the business, but it took a while to get there, but I did not give up. I kept saying there will be a place for me. And I think every woman out there should feel the same way. Sometimes the road may be more challenging than other roads for certain people, but there will be, if you keep going at it. Robin, do you agree? I mean, it will be your time at some point.
I think it's that, and I really was inspired by what Hattie said, because, there are really definitively, there are three things, and this doesn't matter whether you're male, female, whatever nationality you are, whatever your language, whatever your skill level is. These three things work for everybody. Number one, increase your skill level. That's, first and foremost. If you're going to be in whatever game you're in, you got to be the best at it, and that quiets a lot of critics pretty darn quick. Then the second thing is to look for role models. I think it's not just specific to women. It's just, I think, systemic to this industry that people are so generous and so giving. I can tell you there is not a single time that someone's called me and said, hey, Robin, what do you think about this? Someone's called you and said, hey, Eric, just give me some advice. There's no payment. It's just people help one another in the industry. So seek out those role models, take advantage of them, and your star is definitely going to rise. And then the third thing, it's showing up. It's being persistent. It's saying, you know what, I'm opening this new restaurant, and I don't care that I have 3 people on a Tuesday night. I'm not closing. How do I get 3 people on a Tuesday night? Well, listen to some of our past shows about, how you increase marketing, how you drive traffic through social media, how you improve your food offering, all the different ways that you can improve on your business. But the number one thing, keep the doors open. Believe in yourself and be persistent until you get it to the end of the game. So it's not It's not just a career. It's not just focused on women. Those are thoughts everybody can live and grow their business by.
Yeah, and a very interesting point that I've learned from Hattie is, women make over 90% of the food decision in the household.
Yeah, I heard that 85%. I think she
85,
said. Yeah.
Okay, well, I took it to 90 already. It's going up.
Well, because that's what it is in our household. Huh?
But this is very interesting because if you are own a restaurant, regardless of your staffing situation, that's a very important way. How do you reach out to people? Maybe you want to reach out to the head of a household that makes food decision, and I believe that was not just a grocery store. We're talking about where to go eat as a restaurant or everything like that. So maybe you do want to find a way to reach out maybe to a more female audience and into your marketing, your advertising, your social media presence to get these people that make the decision to say, hey, let's go here tonight versus going to this place. So that was a very, very small, quick tidbits here that I think is very powerful if you're a restaurant owner.
I agree, and I think that there in the old days we used to do these focus groups, and you'd pay somebody a moderator a lot of money, and you'd pay these people money to show up or give them gift cards, and you'd stick them in a room and say, "What do you think? Hey, here's a tip: go to your staff, seek out the women on your staff, and say, hey, what do you think? What would bring more people in the door? Put it on social media, and one thing we talked about on social media a few weeks ago is that the entire web environment is becoming so visual. That's very, very appealing to a woman. Most women prefer to see something that's three-dimensional and very, very graphic intensive and, rely on that. So ask them, how do you penetrate like Instagram and Pinterest and places like that? Because where women go is going to determine then where women go along with their families, which is, 4 people, 5 people, 6 people hitting you up on a Tuesday or Wednesday night instead of having that restaurant be dead.
That's a very good advice right there. We heard about another word that came up a lot is have passion, have guts. And don't be afraid to ask for a pat. Once you get your skills and you demonstrate that you're a fan of your job and your company, hey, what do I need to do to get to the next level? I mean, there's nothing wrong by asking that. Speak out. Says, I want to make this a career. Because a lot of people says, how many people we had on our show, Robin? I mean, they said, hey, I just started, waiting tables in college, and fast forward 30 years later, they're CEO of 350 restaurants. I mean, this is the way it goes. Nobody planned, didn't go to school to be in the food service industry. Now people do that. But even at that point, I mean, speak out. Where do you want to be in the food industry? Do you want to be a butcher? Do you want to be the CEO of a multi-unit, franchise company? I mean, where do you want to go, and what do you need to do that? I think it's very important because, I mean, you can be sitting there, so one day, they're going to discover me. That's the hard one. That's the needle in the haystack.
Yeah, and I think that's an important point. You don't sit back and wait for someone to discover your talent. You do what you need to do to develop it. So look at Carrie. She's saying, there's an opportunity for me to teach, for me to transform lives, for me to start this Meat Academy up and put people through a curriculum. So look at what there is out there. The Women's Food Service Forum, Hattie didn't even get into that, but they do assessments, they do training, they do so many things to raise and increase your skills level. So sitting back isn't an option because other people are going to pass you by. You have to invest in your career. You have to invest in the opportunity because there is definitively enough people out there who will mentor you, show you a path, and grant you educational opportunities and assess where you are and help you get where you want to be. But you have to be the driver of that boat. You can't sit back and wait for it to happen to you because the waves will just roll you over. Absolutely. I mean, true story. We have some ladies, and we sell restaurants that are our brokers, and one of our agent said, hey, I'm not as comfortable as I want to be with financial information. We didn't have to tell her. She said, I'm taking a class about accounting to get better at this because I want to be the best I can be. And it's helping her business, and she's helping herself, and she is becoming a rising star among the ranks because of that, because she has taken the initiative to increase her skill. She's always seek out for Robert and I. She's not afraid to pick up the phone and say, hey, let me ask you this. How do I do this? How do I do that? And she is persistent. She took it on the chin a few times, but, she gets back up and learns from it and keep growing. And this is where,
we talk about women today, but this, if you're a minority, if you're an immigrant, whatever you are that you may not be the mainstream, this is where you would actually use the same technique.
I think it's been a great show. A lot of inspiring information. Hey, just remember, you can find us online at WeSellRestaurants.com. Do me a favor, like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/WeSellRestaurants. Our Twitter handle's @SellRestaurants, and our YouTube channel's We Sell Restaurants. Thanks for joining us today.